Okay, so we got a new design here. I went to File, New Design. You can, in this design, it's in the design mode. You'll see design. There's all this. We're just going to be doing design. You can change it to metric or inches, but for what we're doing today, it really doesn't matter. So what I'll do then is go into, if you look at the top, there's a bar here. So there's all this stuff. But if I just click on the form, you'll see like I've got some basics. So all you've got to do today is essentially three things. I'm going to do a box. So as soon as I click it, it wants to know like, where are you putting this? Like think of here's the top of the cube, the front, the right, and I'm just going to click on the bottom here. So that's where it's going to go. And then I'm just going to, I can type it in, but for now, I'm just going to make a cube like this, and I can do that, and I'm essentially done. So I've made this cube, right? And so I hit finish form. And so let's make another one. I want to make so the first one we did, so it's right here. You'll see there. We're going to make like a quad ball here. So that's what that was, right? So select where I want to put it. And this is a circle, right? So there's my circle, or what they're calling quad ball. And so I can make it, there's a lot I can do with it, but for now, we're just going to make a circle there. And then I say finish. And then the last thing I'm going to do before I render this is I'm going to come over here and create sketch. And I'm going to make, and so if you look on the left, I've got these bodies, right? So that's it. So I'm going to make a cylinder, but if you want to do this, what you can do is you can label these. You just double click them and you should be able to change their name. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to go here to create sketch. I'm going to select the bottom of this orange. So if you don't see that, make sure that you've got the this origin turned on. I'm going to select the bottom of this. I'm going to select circle, and I'm going to just make a circle and say finish, and then I'm going to extrude it. All right, so I'm going to make a cylinder, and it's going to create a new body, and I'll say okay. All right, and so now all I need to do on these things is I want to create a rendering. Think of Pixar when they make like a story, they've got to render it. So I go to design, I go to render, and this is where you can add materials and things like that. So for example, I can, on the appearance, I click the appearance, I can change the color, I can change it to, let's make one, like I can make it leather, or cloth, or fabric. So here's blue fabric, and show downloadable materials. And I'm just going to drag it and put it on there. Well, I got to download it first. So if it doesn't come out, you just have to download it from the cloud, and then drop it onto it. So if you look real close, that's fabric. There's a lot more in here. So I could do, let's say, what else can we do? I could do, I can make one clear like glass. So I can make, here's a clear one and drop it onto it. And it actually, you can see through it. And so if I look around this, you'll see what I mean there. And then we'll do one more, and you can really choose any material you want. And I'll do, let's do wood. I'll do mahogany, right? You can do it, or oak, you can do anything you want. You just should be able to drag it onto it, and there you see it's wood. And so then all I need to do is render it. And so you'll notice like you can set scenes in here, and we'll get into all that. You don't need to worry about that, but I'm just going to render it. And this is kind of the universal render. So first thing I have to do is save it. So I'll go here, save. And so the cool thing about this is, I'll just call this basic shapes. You don't need a thumb drive. So I'll say save. And what I've done is, if you see this 9 cubes on the left, I can actually, it'll have all my my folders here. So I don't need to have a thumb drive. It's all saved to the cloud. And so then when I want to render this, I'll say render, and I can render the cloud, but I'm going to do a local render, which is just on my computer. It takes a couple moments. It never seems to go fast enough, but I'll just say render. And so if you look down here, you'll see a rendering that's happening. No matter what you do, you always feel like you need more, like what Pixar did when they did like Toy Story, when they rendered it, because this is basically the same technology, is they would have like 100 computers and they'd network them and they do them overnight. This rendering that I'm about to show you, I worked for a design firm, and you would say render, and then you'd leave, and then you come back in the morning, and so it would be just finishing up. So here is the rendering that I just created. Oh, isn't that pretty? That glass, right? And so then all I do is, when I'm happy with it, I download it. So I'm going to download it, and I'll say Smith's rendering, and I'll put on my desktop, and that's what I'm going to turn in for this assignment. Don't worry about the Fusion file. And so that's essentially it for the lesson. So you can spend a lot more time. So play around with this cube. You can get different views of it. You can zoom. I'm scrolling in with my mouse. You can zoom in and out. And I went to that rendering, and I could just render that again. The other thing I could do is go back to the design. I could go back and forth, and I could add objects. I could subtract them. I could add materials just by going from design to render. All right. And so let's look at the last rendering I did. We have this rendering, and then we have the rendering, the last rendering that I just did. If it's ready, there it is. So you can see how cool that is, where I've got different materials. Come on. It's still rendering. Oh, where'd it go? Well, anyway, I think you get the idea here. So where did it go? I don't think it's quite done yet. I think it's still processing. So I'm going to stop the recording, and then we can talk about it a little bit further.